Luka Doncic has continued to show out on the international stage, with more responsibility on his back than ever before. He enters the 2023 FIBA World Cup as the only one of Slovenia's top three from the past few seasons playing. Goran Dragic has opted not to play in this year's World Cup, which could have been his last, considering he is 37 years old, and Vlatko Cancar, a Nuggets forward who is potentially looking at a larger role next season, just tore his ACL. That leaves Luka alone at the top, carrying the country on his back. We'll see if he can use some Luka Magic to keep the team competing for gold. At just 24 years old, the Slovenian basketball star is already regarded by many as one of the greatest European players of all time, and should be the best player in this tournament. In the lead up to the tournament, Doncic has looked completely unstoppable. Against Montenegro on Tuesday, he finished with 34 points, 14 assists, and 13 rebounds. Mind you, these international games are 40 minutes long, a whole 8 minutes shorter than an NBA game, and he's still putting up these absurd numbers. He takes on the United States on Saturday, and given the trouble they had with Tremont Waters in the first half against Puerto Rico on Monday, Doncic is going to tear them apart. He is on the path to becoming one of the greatest players of all time, winning Euroleague MVP at just 19 and averaging 32, 9, and 8 in the NBA last season. Luka Doncic is taking over the basketball world. Now let's take a deeper look at why. Before we get into the growing legend of Luka Doncic, if you enjoy my content and watch a few videos of mine, think about subscribing. 96% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you're watching before and enjoy the content, drop a sub and comment down below. It really helps the channel. To truly understand the takeover of the basketball world that Doncic is on, let's briefly go back to the beginning. At the age of 13, Luka Doncic joined Real Madrid, a boy who was destined to mark an era of basketball. He became the best player in Europe at only 19 years of age, breaking all kinds of records. He led Real Madrid to win the 10th Euro Cup in Belgrade in the 2018 season, in which he was chosen MVP of the Euroleague, MVP of the Final Four, and member of the best five in the competition. That same year, he won the league and ACB MVP in another historical event by winning 3 MVPs in the same season. At Real Madrid, Doncic experienced 6 successful years following his arrival in the youths in 2012. In the Whites Academy, he continued a meteoric progression, with titles and individual trophies in all categories, and crowning his successful march in May 2015 with the conquest of the Junior EuroLeague and the MVP of the competition. At that time, Luka was already involved in first-team training sessions. He became the youngest player to make his league debut in Real Madrid's history at just 16 years old. Doncic played 216 games with Real Madrid, winning 7 titles and captivating the fans with his charisma, talent, and the spectacle he produced on the court. He arrived as a 13-year-old boy, and in the summer of 2018, he made the leap to the NBA after leaving an indelible mark on Real Madrid, the club of his dreams. Due to all of his success at such a young age, he was given the nickname Wonder Boy. Doncic was selected with the 3rd pick in the 2018 NBA draft by the Atlanta Hawks, and then subsequently traded to the Dallas Mavericks on draft night. The success he had in Europe immediately translated to the NBA, and within a couple of months it was clear he should have gone number 1. In his rookie season, he averaged 21.2 points per game, the highest mark since Blake Griffin in 2011, but Blake had already been with the Clippers for a year, missing the first one with an injury. If you restrict it to strictly first-year players, Luka's 21.2 points per game was the highest since Allen Iverson in 1997. He was unanimously named to the All-Rookie First Team and voted the Rookie of the Year. His numbers skyrocketed to 28.8 points per game in year 2, and was named First Team All-NBA at just 20 years old. Since the ABA-NBA merger, that's tied for the youngest to make First Team All-NBA with 2 other players, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. I'd say that's pretty good company. Now that we have some context of how successful he was early on in both the EuroLeague and the NBA, let's fast forward to now. After 5 seasons in the NBA, Doncic has been named First Team All-NBA 4 times, which is just absolutely absurd. He's been a top 5 player in the league since he was just 20 years old, and feels like a near lock to be a multi-time MVP someday. But it hasn't just been regular season success for the Matador. His playoff average of 32.5 points per game is the second highest in NBA history, behind only the airness himself, Michael Jordan. He also had one of the single greatest performances of all time last season, dropping 60 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists. He was the first to ever have a 60-20-10 game, and did it in an overtime win against the Knicks. So over the past 10 years, Doncic has dominated both the NBA and the Euroleague, but has he done it at the international stage? Also yes. Doncic led Slovenia to a very impressive finish at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, which actually took place in 2021. The team advanced out of the group stages with 3 victories, then defeated Germany in the quarterfinals. They matched up against France, an international powerhouse, in the semifinal, and ended up losing by just 1 point, 89-90. They then lost to Australia in the bronze medal game, finishing 4th. But for Doncic to lead the 149th largest country in the world by population to 4th place in the Olympic Games is one heck of an achievement, especially on a team not stacked with NBA talent. Now, after a disappointing end to the Mavs season in 2023, Luka is out for blood this World Cup. I know it's been kind of a recurring thing at this point that we see skinny Luka in the summer and then he still shows up to camp a little out of shape. But this time feels different. He's playing internationally with Slovenia and is doing so while having to carry more of the load than ever before. He suffered a minor injury after colliding knees last week, but has already returned to the floor and does not want to miss any games, even exhibitions. And after his massive 34-point, 14 assist, and 13 rebound performance against Montenegro on Tuesday, I'd say he's feeling just fine and ready to take on any challenge. He just feels and looks absolutely unstoppable at this point, and after already taking over the Euroleague and the NBA, he's looking to take over the international stage as well. Luka Doncic is taking over the basketball world. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.